Hey, welcome to the Grand Theft Modcast. In the top left we have Vythrin, and in the top right we have GioGimic and Gimmick. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry.
Look, close enough.
GioGimic,
Close
Gimmick,
enough.
whatever. Bottom left, IvyVisual. Welcome to the first podcast. And what this podcast is about? How about you explain, Vythrin?
GTA 5 mods.
GTA 5 mods. Yeah, that's generally what it's about. As the Grand Theft Auto 5 was released about 2 weeks ago, we're kind of currently waiting for the modifications that are supposedly coming for Grand Theft Auto 5, and we plan to announce and inform anyone about what is currently available for Grand Theft Auto 5. So they can be anything from, who knows, like ASI plugins and character reskins and just all sorts of wonderful things. But anyway, as far as modifications go currently, Rockstar hasn't really released any information on the subject matter of modifications, and right now everybody knows that, like, you might get banned for it, you might not. I mean, what do you guys think? Like,
We don't have that much information. Rockstar might be banning people who mod, they might not be.
Yeah.
But I think it's safe to say at this point that if you're going to use crazy, insane mods, like, I'm going to go fly off as this monkey or something like that, don't do that in multiplayer. Single player, you should be fine, but don't do anything insane in multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of read a few things around on Reddit stating that Rockstar may be doing some sort of ban wave after the first month, but that's not a confirmation that that might happen. I mean, there's currently been people that have stated that they've been, hacking without a doubt and just trying different things, like changing the value of or changing the value of vehicles and selling them online and getting money that way. But Rockstar has not banned those players yet. But as far as that goes, let's get into some of the modifications that were coming out this week. So right now we have there's this guy that has created the LMS development blog. There isn't much information on it other than he's created a few things for it. Well, I can't say for it, but like for Grand Theft Auto 5 in general. One of them being a speedometer. Maybe, Gio, you can explain a little bit more about the speedometer.
Alright. It's a really simple concept. It's a speedometer. It tells you how fast you're going. Except it shows you on your license plate. It's really stupid. Seriously, don't even go for it.
That's an interesting way to put it.
I mean, if you want me driving with your camera looking behind you the whole time to see how fast you're going, go ahead.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future, like you were saying earlier, maybe in the future when we get textures and stuff, we'll get something with something on the screen. But as of right now, it's really fucking stupid.
Yeah, basically.
Wait.
It's a concept, moreover, is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the same guy also released a train modification sort. Well, he didn't release it. I mean, he showed us in a YouTube video that you're able to control trains and basically drive them on the tracks, which is kind of nice because that's not a default feature in Grand Theft Auto 5. So
it seems like it's there, it's just Rockstar hasn't enabled it, because I doubt the guy's been able to create an entire, control the train in however many days modding has been capable of being done.
Yeah, maybe it was just some kind of left out feature that Rockstar forgot to put in.
Maybe something that was planned for a DLC, perhaps.
Yeah. And speaking of left out features, there's there's been a few posts on the subreddit for Grand Theft Auto 5 PC, on Reddit. There was the main character of Red Dead Redemption. I can't remember his name. John something, I think. I can't remember. But anyway, that guy. There's some character model assets found in the files, and people have been taking screenshots with that specific character and posting them on the subreddit, as well as Nico Bellic being posted in screenshots as well. So that shows the ability to put in separate character models into the game. And because OpenIV isn't actually out yet, it's kind of curious how they actually got those character models, put into the game.
Yeah, I've also heard things about there being something about zombies and horses in the game files, something like that. Maybe planned DLC or something. We don't know yet, but guess we'll have to find out eventually.
Maybe it could confirm that Rockstar might be looking at another Red Dead Redemption game as well. Who knows?
Maybe.
But anyway, on the topic of OpenIV, the current version right now is 2.5 and currently allows the reading of the archives, and you can actually see the textures in the game as well. There is no exporting for the tool itself, so maybe in the coming months we'll be able to see a full tool usage for OpenIV, which will allow us to open the archives of Grand Theft Auto 5 and adjust them to our liking and modify things and whatnot. But as we go down our list of things that we have currently coming out, how about you take over here, Vythrin?
I think Gio should probably do this part.
Because you got your name wrong? Alright, so
Yeah.
we got GTAV5mods.com here. It has a bunch of scripts on it. I'm looking at it now. There's not too much there right now, but it's definitely a nice little website. There's one that enables snow from the holidays that's already in the game, but it enables it for single player and online, I think. But it says in online. Currently it's outdated. The recent patch broke it, but I'll definitely be interested in seeing it again once it's updated, because I love the snow in GTA 5. All the weather is just epic. And there's a better experience with lighting. There's a bunch of little things there, but there's one there I know Vythrin here will love, and that's field of view mod.
Oh, yes. Gotta have a higher field of view.
Absolutely.
Some people hate the not so wide field of view by default on first person for GTA 5, but this obviously expands it and makes it just a hell of a lot better for those whiny bastards that like to complain. Looking at you, Vythrin.
Right. There's been a lot of actual talk about the FOV, just in general, about people saying, oh, it's cheating to, have a higher FOV in, a game such as Grand Theft Auto 5, like when you have a smaller field of view. Yeah, it is ridiculous because...
I mean, I could see someone trying to make that a point on a first-person primary game, but GTA is a third-person game, you're always basically going to be at a disadvantage when you're in first-person mode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of that, there's been arguments stating that, competitive games such as like CSGO and any other first-person game, when you adjust the field of view, it's not against the competitive rulebook to adjust your field of view. So why should it make it any different for a game such as Grand Theft Auto? And
exactly,
it's just been a standard in the game itself, or I mean, just like in the first-person genre for such a long time. It's like arena shooters. If you're playing an arena shooter at like 60 fucking FOV, it's not going to be it's not going to be a good idea. You're going to be at a huge disadvantage because most of those other players are playing at 100 to 110 FOV with their widescreen monitors on top of that. So either way, like FOV should not be taken into consideration of cheating for that matter. So the mod itself should just be allowed, or Grand Theft Auto, or Rockstar in general should just put the ability to change your FOV into the game itself. I mean, there's just no point in not having that option in the game.
I mean, there is an option, but the max FOV it goes up to, I think someone figured it out, was like 75 or something. It doesn't even tell you it. It doesn't even tell you. It's just a slider bar.
That's not even worth the time. Like
75 it's ridiculously low.
Yeah.
Like people usually are at like 90 or above. 90 is like on the low end of good FOVs though.
Right. But as far as the rest of the modifications go and the GTA5-mods.com, there's been a release for a script hook, which is really awesome.
Sorry for interrupting. I was just going to say, this GTA 5's mod, since it's like the first one of its kind where you can kind of just upload mods and they're all public and everything. I was thinking that this would probably end up being the go-to mod. You know, it's like the Nexus mods of GTA. You know,
Yeah.
But it seems like the people who are hosting the website don't exactly have a stand against hacks or anything.
No.
Seeing as we have the script hook here, the trainer.
Yeah.
So maybe it's probably not going to take off just because of that reason.
Yeah, that's true. But as more modifications come out, I mean, obviously these things are going to be outdated and pushed back into the background. But this adds the functionality to upload modifications. They also have a GTA 4 modding website as well. So they have multiple other websites, a part of their, I guess, family of websites. So definitely have something going on there. But as far as it goes, going back into the script hook 5, the native trainer, it actually adds quite a bit of options. You can change your skin. You can play as animals. You can play as different pedestrians. You can play, you can play as like Michael's family if you want. There's teleporting. You can reset your skin and whatnot. You can max out your stats, and you can add cash. You can adjust your wanted level. There's cheats like invincibility. Police can be ignored, which means wanted would just not exist for you as you shoot up everything. Unlimited ability, which is interesting. Like Michael's ability Franklin's ability when you hit caps lock and you can drift in the car. You can basically have that on for a limited amount of time. There's speed hacks for like running and swimming and such. But this is kind of the start. There's always trainers for games when they come out immediately. People adjusting values and creating these interesting files and exes to adjust the values of in-game binary and whatever we want to call it. But moving on from that, there's not much else other than like a tunables editor, which allows you to access DLC packs for Christmas and Independence Day. But that's not too important. So hopefully we'll be seeing some more interesting modifications soon, especially with the introduction of the OpenIV. I'm sorry, it is OpenIV. Yeah, the OpenIV toolkit for opening the archives and whatnot. Anyway, so as far as currently, how can we explain this? The online stuff that's currently going on with Grand Theft Auto 5. It's coming along its way, since nobody's
online
really...
like hosts or something along those lines. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. But let's say, or how can I say this? Currently, like, everybody kind of is not in favor of the whole Rockstar Social Club online thing, because there's a lot of issues with it, or that come with it. A lot of it having to do with loading menus. For God's sake, so many loading menus. Just everything is just a loading menu at this point. You want to change the map? Loading menu. You want to change your game mode? Loading menu.
I heard they were adding a 6th heist in that's literally just one big loading menu. Like that's the entire heist.
So, there's currently a bunch of parties, or not parties, or we could call them parties, developers, whatever you want to call them, that are currently working on different modifications for Grand Theft Auto that enable enables an online-offline mode for basically Social Club. So it kind of disconnects you from the Social Club itself, and they're basically creating their own online where the database of servers would keep your character statistics and all that good stuff. So what's currently available is there is one that's called Multi-IV, which is aiming for up to 255 players at once, and there's basically not any more information about that modification, or that online modification for that matter. And then 5M. You want to explain that one for me?
Alright, so 5M.
Don't choke on your pudding.
I'll try not to. Alright, so 5M, well, hold on. It plans to use resources with the .NET language. So maybe Lua, C#, whatever. So pretty much that would be great for people who want to make, say, roleplay servers and possibly, I don't know, roleplay servers. And
It's all we really care about is roleplay servers.
yeah,
It's really...
basically. Yeah, I'm not a hardcore role-playing nerd, but it's just so much more fun when people act rationally and don't go around blowing people up with their tanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously people will be able to have their own dedicated servers, so things like 10-hour loading screens, which is mostly loading, trying to connect to the servers on GTA Online, that'll be cut out with, that goes for all these mods.
Yeah.
They'll mostly be cut out for, unless these guys or the other servers are, or the other mods are planning on doing their own servers, but doesn't really say much for multi-V. But
Right.
5M does say dedicated servers, which is great, and beyond 30 players, which is awesome because the size of Los Santos and the surrounding areas, it's huge.
Yeah, it's massive, especially compared to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I mean, just looking back on, SAMP and everything, the map itself isn't very big. The more you drive through it, and the more you're used to it. I mean, just driving around, you're just it's not very big at all. I mean, seeing servers
seems big, but it's really not.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some servers who can get up to 1,000 players, and it's ridiculous when you consider how small the San Andreas map is. There's no way that map would be able to host 1,000 players. There are some servers that even struggle to have 500 people on it.
Yeah. But as far as 5M goes, they're planning to. I'm pretty sure 5M is by NT Authority, a guy who's made modifications in the past for Grand Theft Auto 4, and I'm pretty sure San Andreas as well. But what's important here is with his online modification, 5M is planning to have an API that goes with it. And if you don't know what an API is, it's basically like an access protocol that allows you to write language specifically for the server and just kind of easily hook into different functions on the server. So let's say something like killing someone, you're able to adjust the messages when somebody dies and things along those lines, which is really important for server developers and roleplay in general. So 5M is definitely going to be one of those bigger modifications, and hopefully we'll be seeing that within 2 months of release here. But moving on to the next one, the GTA MP, which currently has support for, launching without Social Club, and has a D3, D11 hook, which allows the ability for overlay, graphic-wise, like GUIs or graphic user interfaces, in the game. So that's pretty awesome. And there's been videos showcasing. I don't even know if you guys have you seen that. It shows the video of the guy just spawning a bunch of pedestrians, adjusting the weather, cars being spawned on top of each other and stuff like that. I'm not sure if you've seen that yet.
Can't say I have.
Yeah, I definitely need to link you up with that one. But they've definitely made quite some progress with it, and they've already got a menu going and everything as well as options. So they're moving very quickly in those regards.
Good.
So maybe we'll see a full release for that maybe within a month, but that's kind of hoping. But there's definitely quite a bit ready for that that online modification GTA MP. So, but that's just something to look forward to, I guess. But as far as that goes, you guys have anything else to say about those online stuff that's coming around?
I think
hopefully they're done right.
Right.
I think that the developers of it need to, please, they need to get creative with how they're actually going to be doing it. SAMP, it's really just bare bones. Hey, here's a server, you can script and everything you want. But for example, what's it called? MTA, multi-theft auto for SAMP.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support. It's really creative with how they've done things. There's support for backpacks and better NPCs and stuff like that. So I think that they need to, the developers of whoever comes out as the top multiplayer mod. They need to be more creative with how they're actually doing the multiplayer rather than just, hey, here's bare bones the multiplayer, script your own stuff.
Yeah, we're just hoping for like a fully functioning client that isn't going to like let us down. And Gio, weren't you saying earlier? You were saying earlier something about having like it would make more sense if all of these developers got together and made one multiplayer client.
It'd make a lot more sense instead of working on 10 different projects, all splitting up. And I'm sure these people don't even know each other, but if they were to all get together and work on one overall better project, we could see a lot more progress, a lot faster, and have just overall a better quality of multiplayer mod.
Completely agree with you. It's like I don't mean to go off topic here. I mean, this is a Grand Theft Auto podcast, but when Halo, like the Halo Online got leaked, basically a bunch of people on 4chan decided to grab the source code and start developing a multiplayer mod for it. And within a week, they had a fully functioning, client with multiplayer and name tags within a week, which is really insane if you think about it. I mean, if Grand Theft Auto 5 took on that, like if they had those same type of developers that were that much more interested into, getting things hooked together, like we could already have a multiplayer client, but I don't think we're seeing those kind of developers right now.
No.
So.
And hopefully these guys that are making the multiplayer mods do it right, and we don't see another IVMP where no one really gets interested in it and it just gets forgotten about for 5 years, and then that's that.
See, the thing that 5 has going for it is, it's not 4, obviously, because the performance on 4 was terrible. I'm pretty sure anybody can agree with us on that. That was pretty bad. It was a really terrible port, but this port is great. So
amazing.
But we forgot to cover one thing.
What was that?
What is it called? The graphic enhancements for Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, great.
The current ones that are out, as far as it goes. I mean, this is kind of more up my alley, kind of saying what's what about them. So, they're sweet effects. Okay, so sweet effects is it's a D3. It's like a DirectX hook that hooks into the the graphics itself and overlays it with different types of effects and whatnot. And sweet effects has been around for quite some time at this point. Offers very different filters and effects and whatnot. But there's also a contender for that now, which is Reshade, which recently came out within the past couple of months. And the guy that was behind, we'll just call him Marty McFly. Marty McFly did he did shader writing for GTA San Andreas and created MMGE version 2, which is like his most recent one. And he's got quite a few, he's definitely got some really interesting effects. He's added ambient occlusion, which is the shadows between your edges of the buildings and whatnot, and we're kind of hoping that he really works heavily on the Grand Theft Auto 5 itself with Reshade, because Reshade is looking like it's going to be taking over both Sweet FX and EMB at this point, because Boris over at EMB can't really get his shit together, because he's just complaining about everything lately. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I've said this in the past, is he doesn't like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas at all. I'm pretty sure you've heard me say that before, Vythrin.
Yep.
He's never loved it, so I mean, I guess it's because of the multiplayer community. And I'm really hoping our multiplayer community is going to be better than what was in San Andreas.
God.
Because, there was some...
the San Andreas multiplayer community is worse than the League of Legends and any other toxic game you can think of combined.
True, so true.
Well, now it is, but back in the earlier days, it wasn't so bad. There was actually a good community around it. Now it's a bunch of kids and foreign fuckheads that just want to run around trolling, but it used to be good.
I do know that, I know that like the people that did want to do modifications or get involved with modifications in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, there's a lot of issues with people stealing modifications and re-releasing them. You know, this was a common thing. It's like, this is my EMB. It's like, you didn't write any of those shaders or anything. It's just like no proper credits were put down in place, and that's just like a huge issue. And hopefully we're not going to be seeing that with Grand Theft Auto 5, because that really pissed off a lot of developers and just made them, you know, move away from the, you know, San Andreas community itself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But that about wraps up what's going on with you know, Grand Theft Auto 5 and modifications this week, and well, these past 2 weeks really since the release. But that's about it. So hopefully we'll see you guys next week, and thanks for tuning in for Grand Theft Auto Modcast.